All right. Welcome, everyone. It's Miji.
And Jack.
And
And
we're
we're
back
back.
for another session of our live Q&A. We can't believe it's another Thursday already.
Right.
But we're very excited this week because we have a special member of our Hat Pack here. Her name is Baraka Truss. She's owner and instructor at Couture Designs, LLC from Huntsville, Alabama. Everybody, please give Baraka a warm welcome. Give her some hearts and a thumbs up.
Well,
And Baraka, please say hello.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited about being here with you guys today.
Oh, we're excited to have you. So Baraka actually started first chatting with us in our Facebook user group. And for those of you who are not familiar, we do have a user group on Facebook where everyone can collaborate with one another. All of our 17 Hats users can get advice, share ideas. It's a great platform for getting started. And not too long ago, Baraka actually sent us this message here where she posted and said on July 18th, I'm a seamstress and 17 Hats works amazingly well for my business. And I just thought I'd say that, #carry on. So of course that really made our day. We started chatting with her. We talked about 17 Hats, workflows, but then she started telling us her story and her business journey of how she turned her passion for sewing into this full-fledged business. And so Jack and I, we kind of looked at each other and we figured
It was just amazing.
we got to share this, with the world. So we've got her here on the show today. And without further ado, Baraka, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay, well, as Miji said, I have started Couture Designs, which is a sewing school. I'm also a seamstress. I do custom garment construction. But on top of that, I'm doing Couture Designs kind of as my side business. It's not my full-time business. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs just getting started out. Most of people do just kind of do something on the side, but I'm a full-time software engineer. I'm a mom. I have a 10-year-old son. I'm a wife, and I work my business on the side. With my sewing, I started sewing when I was 8. My grandmother is the person who actually taught me, how to sew and first sparked that little piece of creativity within me when I was 8 years old. So that's kind of how I got started with the sewing, and that's a little bit about me. But I truly have a passion for sewing. I love it, love teaching people how to sew, love making new things all the time.
Nice. So how did you really just get started with your business?
Well, it's an interesting story behind that. I got started with my business because, as I said, I started sewing when I was 8, but I truly picked back up the passion with sewing maybe about 10, maybe 12 years ago. And I was just making things for people as gifts and Christmas presents and things like that. And people were saying to me, Barack, you're really good. This stuff is really good. You should do this as a business. Or will you teach me how to sew? Friends nagging me all the time, Barack, will you teach me how to sew? And I'm constantly saying, no, no, no. But after a while, I thought about it. I said, maybe I should just give it a try and just kind of see how it goes. So I started out with just teaching a few students at first, and that went over pretty good. And after it went over pretty well, I said, hey, I really could do this, as a full-fledged business all the time. And so I got a curriculum together and got students registered and signed up to go. And that's how Sew Couture actually got started.
Wow.
Right. Nice. And you also do one of the things that your business does is you do sewing parties. I guess there's a lot of social interaction with something like that.
Yes, it is. That's a part of our business, our event business that we have. We do sewing birthday parties where you can come in and bring a group of 6 people. Typically, we have young girls, ages 12, and up, that come in and do the sewing birthday parties. So they come in and they make something, say a tote bag or something like that, and they enjoy it, and that's kind of the first introduction that some kids have with sewing. But we also do it for adults as well. We call it Girls' Night Out events. People always want to have something to do outside of just the typical, going to the movie type of thing.
Right.
And we also do sewing baby showers. So people come in and they make a burp cloth and a bib for the mom to be. And at the end of the party, they present that bib and burp cloth as a gift. to the mommy to be. Now, mind you, some people do say this is just the bib the baby is only to wear in the house. Don't take the baby out of the house with this bib on. This is a house bib. But either way, it's sewn in love, and they have such tremendous fun when they're making those items. And the mommy to be really loves it. And she has all those special gifts that she has to take back for her baby that's coming.
Nice.
Oh, I love that. And Baraka, actually, and Anne Maria's here, and she says hello to Huntsville. She's from Madison. I don't know if you know where that is, but
yes, that's just right up the road. Absolutely. Hi.
There you go. You got a friend.
Have to make sure you contact me.
Yep, absolutely. Anne Marie, stay till the very end because we'll throw up Baraka's information if you guys want to hang out and do a little bit of sewing together.
And yeah, that would be great.
Jack, our friend Lorenzo's here again.
Hi, Lorenzo. How you doing?
Say hello to Lorenzo, one of our regulars.
And if you guys like what you're hearing, make sure that you go and click on that heart or give us a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate it.
Yep. And just for those of you who are just tuning in, we've got Baraka Truss here on the line. She's owner and instructor of her own sewing, garment business, and education business. We're just getting to get at the beginning of her, journey of how she started everything. So going back to the early days, Baraka, what were those early stages like? I mean, were you using any tools to help you manage your business, any systems?
Miji, let me tell you how archaic I was. When I started my business at first, I had the old handy dandy pencil and paper, paper, pencil. That's all I had. I didn't have anything automated. I didn't even have an electronic calendar. I was using pencil and paper, for the calendar. I was using one of those fancy book calendars that everybody knows about. Mm-hmm. So I had nothing, really automated or electronic other than my sewing machines.
Wow.
Were the only pieces of electronics that I really had in working my business at the very beginning when I got started. It wasn't until later on that I started trying to get a little bit wiser in how I was doing things. As my business was really starting to grow, business was picking up, I was getting more clients, I was having to do a little bit more structuring. I got to a point where now I even had to hire an assistant to help me, and she is fantastic. Holland, I love you. She's really fantastic with that and helping me stay organized and helping me stay on track. But before, in the beginnings, pen and paper.
That was it.
That's all I had.
What was it that made you actually realize that you needed to do something different, that you needed to get a little bit more automation in there?
Well, one of the first things was I was doing contracts with all of my custom garment clients, and I had to have them sign a contract, of course. And going through that whole process was kind of tedious because you have to schedule a time to meet with them. They have to come by your studio or wherever you meet them to sign the contract. Then you have to take the contract back. You have to file it away somewhere. And that was taking a lot of time, out of my schedule when I could be spending that time actually sewing. I kind of estimated it ended up being like an hour's worth of time. I could get a lot of sewing done in an hour, if I could get that time back. Or if nothing else, have that time to spend with my family, with my husband, and with my son, So that's kind of how I realized I needed to do something a little bit different here to help me stay organized with my business. And maybe I need to look into something a little bit more automated with that.
Gotcha. And then how did you happen to stumble upon 17 Hats?
I stumbled upon 17 Hats because I was browsing through the internet, and I have a fellow seamstress friend of mine who did a blog. Adrienne Nixon did a blog on how she was organizing things with her business. And I figured, well, she's a seamstress like myself, so let's see what she does. And she had actually recommended 17 Hats as a tool that she was using. So I said, okay, I'll take a look at 17 Hats. And I thought it was a little quirky at first, a name like 17 Hats that kind of, triggered me a little bit anyway to want to look a little bit deeper into you guys. But I went to your website and I looked at some of the features and things that you offer. And I said, hey, this may just work for me, in doing this. So I tried it for about 30 days and I have been a 17 Hats lover ever since.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. And Baraka, for you coming from pen and paper, like you said, was it daunting at all to all of a sudden be relying on a system. I mean, how did you even determine where to get started?
Well, what everybody's going to have to do, and let me say this to those of you who may be on and you're a little bit leery, you're kind of on the fence about whether or not you want to use 17 hats. One of the first things I had to do when moving from pencil to paper, pen and paper to an automated system is I really did have to go back to that pen and paper and start to write down exactly what is it that I do? You know, what is my process that I go through for, you know, creating a custom garment for a client. And, you know, some of the processes, you know, repeated themselves a lot. And there are some things that I realized I wasn't doing that I should have been doing. But simply just sitting down with a pen and a paper and writing out exactly what it is that you do is going to be the first step. And that was the most difficult thing for me, because after I sat down and wrote it down, I said, gosh, I do a lot of stuff, you know, just to create one product for a client. And having to sit down and go through that process really opened my eyes to a lot of things that I wasn't aware of at first, when I was just kind of, you know, going through the motions and no really way of doing it, but just kind of doing it off the top of my head. So this really helped me sit down and kind of focus on what I needed to focus on, the most important things to get those tasks done.
Nice. Right. Is there any advice that you could give somebody who's having a hard time getting started? You know, like they don't have the time, they don't have the tech savvy. What do you think about that?
The best thing that you can do if you're having those kind of issues is just to do it. Like anything else, you've just got to dive in there, get into the 17 hats tool, play around with it for a little while, see how it works. The tool is so easy to use. I mean, it's user friendly. The graphics user interface that they have on the dashboard when it first comes up. And that's the part that I like the most. You know, when you first log into the tool, it has, you know, says, hello, Baraka, you know, it says your name, and it gives you the next 3-day outlook. It tells you, you know, your to-do items that you may have on your to-do list that you have going on. It tells you about upcoming due dates for projects that you have. So it's really easy to use the tool. So the first thing I would just recommend to anyone, just go out there and just start using the tool. And once you use it more, it's just like with sewing, like I tell my students, the only way you're going to get good at it is you've got to use it. So they've got to get out there and they've got to use the tool and play around with it and see how they can get it to work for them. Nice. And that's just what I did. I just started using it.
Yep.
Nice.
And
I think one of the things we want to welcome Dawn, who just joined us, and we're glad she's here. And we hope she gives us a little thumbs up and maybe a click on one of those hearts there. Do you think? What do you think the big aha moment was you had when you what made you just know that 17 Hats was right for you?
My aha moment came, Jack, when I actually sat down and went through that step-by-step process of writing down what I needed to do in order to produce my products that I was producing. And I realized that I was not charging enough, you know, for my time and the things that I was making for clients, because I was not considering certain things that I had to do in order to create those projects. And I wasn't charging my clients enough money, because we all know when you're in business, you've all heard the caveat, time is money. Okay. And that's true. That's a true statement. Time is money. So when I actually sat down and went through that whole process, I realized, gosh, I've not been charging enough, you know, for the products that I'm creating. So 17 Hats actually helped me come to the realization that I needed to do a little bit better with my pricing and what I was charging for my clients. And then outside of that, the electronic contract feature thing, oh my gosh, the best thing since sliced bread, you know, because now I don't have to worry about running back and forth. I just click, send them an email. They've got the contract, they sign it, they pay for it. They pay for it online, everything online. So it was great. So my aha moment for me, Jack, was truly when I sat down and realized that I was not charging enough for my services for my clients by going through the workflow process and seeing how the workflow was set up and what I was doing. That's what did it for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's so much value in just being able to put your process down somewhere, because I talk to a lot of people all the time and they say, well, my process it's in my head. I know what I do. But until you implement a system like 17 Hats, you go through the process. And if you're like Baraka, you look at it and you look at the inefficiencies, now you can really start improving it, making changes. And if you can come to the realization of, gosh, I'm not charging enough for my prices. I mean, can you just imagine, the benefits that you're going to be reaping once you make those, edits and changes inside of your workflow? So I do want to go back to the tools that you're using, Baraka. We talked about the workflows and you mentioned contracts. Are there any other tools that you're using inside of 17 Hats right now as well?
Miji, I use everything in 17 Hats. Okay. I take that back. I don't use the questionnaire yet. I have not had an opportunity to use that feature, but I use the contracts, I use the quotes, I use the invoicing, I use the workflow, the bookkeeping features, the contacts list, the lead capture forms. I think I've got everything, right? That's just about everything.
That's a lot of it, yeah.
I use about 98% of the features that 17 Hats offers. The most important feature, though, what I really, really like, is one of your newest features, is the multi-user feature. As I mentioned before, I do have an assistant and I also have another instructor that works here with me at the school. So I had an opportunity to add those people to my 17 Hats account as users. We all have calendars. We have a school calendar, we have an events calendar, we have my custom design calendar, and we each have a personal calendar so we can know like who's going to be out when the holidays come up, who's on vacation with their families. So we use all of those. So the multi-user feature is fantastic. So if you are not just a one-person business and you have several people who are helping you, or you have a virtual assistant somewhere, they don't have to actually be with you to kind of help you monitor, the multi-user feature is really great. And I really am glad that you guys brought along the multi-user feature for 17 Hats.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. I just want to remind everybody that we're talking to Baraka Truss, and she is the owner of Couture Designs, LLC in Huntsville, Alabama. And so if you like what you're seeing, please give us some thumbs up and some hearts, and we'll get going on that. But I got a question. Now, how do you use, you have classes and things like that. How do you use 17 Hats to help you with registrations of people?
I'm going to eventually start using 17 Hats as a registration for my classes. Currently, I use, again, pencil and paper.
Okay.
But I plan to use 17 Hats to help my students sign up and pay for their classes using the 17 Hats software to help me do that. I plan to set up workflows on how that whole process is going to work from beginning to end, and me getting notifications when people have actually signed up. So I'm still working on tweaking that a little bit, but I'm not far from it. But I do plan to use 17 Hats to help me do online registration for my classes.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Now, Baraka, I want to hear from you, because I see a lot of people struggle with setting up their workflows, especially in terms of what's the first thing that I got to do when I'm trying to tackle this feature. How did you figure out how to get things up and running with your workflows?
Well, as you mentioned before, most people just kind of have it in their head. And I was the same way. I just had it in my head. I just kind of knew what to do. So actually just sitting down and going through the process from cradle to grave, as they would say, what is the first thing that you need to do? Whether it's, for me, it was custom garment construction. For someone else, it may be photography. It may be somebody that has a event planning business. It may be somebody that walks the dog, could be a dog walker, and use this tool to help you with organizing what you need to do. But actually sitting down and going through the process of writing all that down from beginning to end, all the way through delivery is what I've had to do. And then once I had it down, oh my gosh, it was so much easier to do my processes after that point, because 17 Hats made it so much easier for me, because you can set it up where you can assign certain tasks to people. You can kick off other workflows once you complete a task. And not only that, because 17 Hats also has the feature of being available, on these things that we keep connected to our hips all the time, on mobile devices, you can use your mobile app. And let's just say if I'm in the fabric store and I finally made the purchase of the fabric that I needed to purchase for a project, I can just go to my phone, click task complete.
Mm-hmm.
And then that kicks me on off to the next task that I need to do. So just sitting down and writing those things out made it a lot easier for me to transition with developing my workflows and going through that whole process and using 17 hats.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I think you were mentioning also that when you did that, basically you went through and that really helped more define your process and change your process. So
yes, it is a continuous improvement, situation. Don't think that once you get your workflow in the system, okay, I got it, I'm done. Because we're always learning, how to do things a little bit better. We're always coming up with different ways we can do things, and that's okay. It's your process, it's your workflow. You change it however way you need to accommodate what you're doing. So there's been several times I've gone through and say, no, I know I had this at step 10, but I need to move it up to about step 6 or maybe up to step 4, will be a little bit more efficient for me. So it's all about looking at what you're doing, improving your process, and it being okay to improve your process because it is your process and you can do that.
now
and
we
it's
just
okay to do that.
That's good. We just got a question from Anne Marie, and she wants to know, it's more a general 17 hats question, is does each user I want to invite need their own 17 hats account? She's basically wants to go to multi-user and she wants to add them.
Good question.
What do you think, Miji?
You know what? This is the great thing about 17 hats is they don't have to have their own individual account if you just want to add that person on as a user. It's pretty easy. If you happen to be on our unlimited plan, you go to your account settings, there's going to be a user tab. You click add and you select whether you want that person to be an admin to have more access to everything inside of the account, or if you want to set permissions on what they have access to, you can add them as a team member. And all you got to do is put in the email address that they want to use as their login, send the invitation off, and that person gets it in their inbox, they accept it, they create a password, they're in. Easy. Yep. And you can have up to 5 users total per account, and that includes you as the account owner. So should be a good feature to have. And for those of us who are just tuning in, Baraka, I know you mentioned earlier about how workflows kind of changed your process and made you realize that you needed to charge more for your time. Can you tell us a little bit more about that for those of us who are just tuning in right now?
Yes, it does. I had to charge a little bit more because when you're creating something, a custom item for someone in particular, what I had to go through was looking at, again, the steps that were involved, the actual product that I was making, and I realized I need to charge more for the services that I provide. Now, some people may say, well, I don't want to charge more because then maybe I won't be competitive, with the local person across town, that may be doing the same thing in the same city that I'm in. But for me, what mattered most for me was knowing what my worth was and not being so worried about what the competition is doing, because even though we may both be making skirts, they don't make skirts the way I make skirts, so having, pride in knowing that the quality of whatever product you're producing or whatever service that you're providing, that you do that to such greatness and such level of excellence that that what you're producing, whether it be a product or service, is going to be worth the money that you charge. Now, of course, you have to know your area and the demographics that you live in, because, I live here in Alabama. So, Miji, I can't charge California prices. I have to charge, according to the area that I live in. But at the same time, I don't want people to be so concerned and so afraid to not want to charge what their time and what their services are worth. You have to know what your worth is. And only people are going to value you by what you value yourself as. If you can kind of understand what I'm saying on that. So if you are always kind of cheapening yourself, then people are going to always want to expect that, from you.
Right.
But if you come out of the gate and you're producing a quality product, what's going to happen is people are going to tell people, well, Baraka does really great classes over there. off Winchester Road. You guys should go take her classes. And then when people come in, they say, well, you know what? My friend referred me, and these really are great classes. I'm going to tell somebody else about it.
Right.
I would have to say 98% of the clients I get, the students I get, it's all word of mouth. It's all word of mouth because they know I'm going to pride myself in teaching my students, and I'm going to pride myself in providing my clients with quality products. And they'll just keep coming back because people know what's good and know what's not so good. So know your worth and charge what you're worth because you work hard for that.
Yeah, there wasn't even the tiniest bit of hesitation about raising your prices, or?
Jack, absolutely not. No hesitation whatsoever. Because as I said before, I know what I'm worth. I know what my time is worth. And not only that, I care about my clients. I care about my students. And I would dare not have a client walk out of my door wearing something that I wouldn't wear myself. I would dare not have my students go out of here and sew something and it looked like something bad and then have everybody say that Baraka told me how to do this.
Right.
I had no hesitation whatsoever in charging the prices that I charge. And my prices are very reasonable. My beginner class and intermediate classes are $150 for 8 hours of sewing instruction.
Wow.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Some people blow that at Walmart in one trip, but I'm sharing with people a life skill, something that's going to carry them, from here to eternity. So no, I had no hesitation whatsoever, and I'll stand on it from here on out.
Amen. Amen. Baraka, what is that slogan that you have about quality?
At Couture Designs, our motto is where quality never goes on sale.
That's right.
We don't run sales. We don't run specials at Couture Designs. And it brings me to remembering something I heard. I think I saw it on Facebook. It talked about a Bentley. Person wanted to purchase a Bentley, the little fancy, really expensive car, a Bentley. And it said, have you ever seen a commercial for a Bentley? No, you have not. Because when a person walks into a Bentley car dealership, they know that they're going to pay for that Bentley and they know it's going to be a quality product. Well, I have the same mindset for my business and the products and services that I provide. When clients and students walk into Couture Design Studio, they know that they're going to get Bentley services and they're going to walk out of here with a Bentley product. Quality never goes on sale.
Right.
Gosh, and I can just imagine for you going through that process, coming to that realization. I mean, that was probably your aha moment with 17 Hats, right? This is where you said, I think I found it. I found something that works for me and it fits my needs. I mean, was that kind of when the trigger went off and you're like, I'm going to use this for a long, long time?
Yes, it did. When I actually got in there, and again, you've got to jump in there and you've got to start trying out some of the features. But when I got in there and actually started using this tool and realized how it was really creating an easy process, an easy flow for me from one task to another, from one phase to another with what I was doing, it was great for me. It was great for me. And I use it to this day. I wake up in the mornings and after I thank God for waking me up and I love on my husband and my son in the mornings, the next thing I do is I go to my 17 hats and say, okay, what do I have on tap for today? And you have to incorporate it like any other tool that you use. You have to incorporate it, as part of your everyday living, the things that you do. And 17 Hats is so intuitive. It's so easy to use. It's seamless. It can just incorporate into what you're doing with no problems whatsoever. But you've got to try it. I say everybody out there that's under the sound of my voice, if you can hear me, give 17 Hats a try. It won't let you down. And if you get to a point where you say, hey, it's not, I don't think it's working the way that I need it to. As Miji mentioned, there's a user group. You can go out there, you can ask questions. And a lot of times the admins don't even have to be the ones to answer the questions. The people who are using the tool are so free to help out and jump in. There are answer questions for you. The 17 Hats website has videos available for different features. It has a chat line available for different features. So it's just like jumping in a swimming pool. If you think you can't swim, don't worry. 17 Hats going to be there to help you. They're going to provide you with your little pool noodle so that you won't drown, and your life raft. And, you just got to give it a try. It's lots of help out there for you. You got to give it a try.
Oh, fantastic. And we do have a few other users who are here. Welcome, everybody. Feel free to ask any questions that you may have for Baraka. And we want to give a quick shout out to Allison. Hi, Allison. Hope you're enjoying the show. All right.
Nice. And we have a sewing pun that somebody sent in. We all need a little help sometimes. Needle, little help.
Needle.
Okay, needles. Okay. Right. I couldn't help.
So
it.
true.
Had to put that
SEW
in.
true.
So true. That's right.
Awesome.
So what so you've got your business pretty much defined and stuff. What are your long-term goals with Couture Designs?
Well, Jack, my long-term goals with Couture Designs is really simple. I want to be able to bring back the love of sewing. That's really why I started. I began to love sewing because my grandmother taught me the life skill. I want to be able to bring that back. And I say bring it back because the generation that I'm in and the ones before me and some after me, they don't really get exposure, to sewing anymore like a lot of people did when they provided it, as a part of the school curriculum. There were a lot of home economic programs that were in schools before where they would teach you how to sew. And, because of the education system and the way things are structured, now they cut out a lot of those programs. So kids don't really have exposure to that anymore. And some of the great comments that I get from students before when they come, especially my adult students, is they say, hey, I remember when I was doing this in home economics, back in high school, and I made one little skirt or I made a little tote bag or something. But I want to bring back the love of sewing. It's what I really want to do because sewing is a life skill that will last you truly a lifetime, if you have it. I also have a desire to be able to share this love of sewing that I have on a national platform. And I think being on this, Q&A with you guys today is hopefully, a jump start, to getting me to that point to be able to share my love of sewing with as many people who will listen. I want to be able to do that. But sewing is a life skill. I want to equip as many people as I can with this life skill because when I'm long gone, that's what I really want my legacy to be. Was that Baraka taught me how to sew. She taught me how to sew, or someone she taught how to sew taught me how to sew.
Right.
But it's a life skill, and I want to be able to share that with as many people as I can.
Gosh, what an inspiring story. I mean, you guys, if you're following along and listening to this like we are, please give Baraka a heart or a thumbs up. I certainly feel, inspired right now. And Baraka, I just want to thank you for coming on here today, sharing your incredible story with us. I feel like if I had one word to describe you, it would be fearless. That's what I think of when I think of you. Think of all the things you just said. If you have to do it, jump in and do it, right? Don't worry about other people. Believe in your self-worth. Invest in yourself and your business. And, get started with 17 Hats. Just take the plunge. You're going to be fine. Our team is here to help you. Like you said, we've got the user group of actual people who are using the system, who can give you advice, who you can collaborate with. So, there's no excuse not to better your business. And really,
no excuse whatsoever. No excuse at all.
And if you're the type of person where you're in the beginning stages of your business, because I hear this quite often, is I'm not ready yet. I'm not busy enough yet. This is really the perfect time for you to put a system in place, right, Baraka? I mean, what would you say to people who feel like they're not ready to get started?
Yeah, like this is the best time because now that you say business is really slow, I don't have a lot of business going on. This is the time that you break out the handy dandy pencil and paper and you start writing down what you're doing and you actually see, what you need to accomplish to do whatever service or whatever product that you're going to provide. Don't be afraid to do that. Go in and don't think that you're alone, as Miji said, and don't hesitate and be passionate about it. If you're starting a business in the first place, it's because it's something that you're really passionate about. For me, I'm passionate about my sewing. For you, it may be whatever it is that you desire to do, but don't be afraid of that. Turn that passion into your business that you're just starting. And if once you get 17 hats in place to help you, just sit back and watch it grow. Watch it grow. But like anything else, you've got to work it. You've got to work your business. You've got to get into this tool. You've got to work it, get things in place, and let everything just flow for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
I tip my hat off to you. You'll do great at it. You'll do great at it.
Which hat?
You're 17 hats.
Okay.
Of all the hats. Yeah, 17 hats. My mommy hat, my engineer hat, my teacher hat, my custom designer hat, and I think I have about 17 of them. If I keep going, I'll hit one in a minute. But yeah, all the hats that I have to wear. 17 hats helps me make that happen.
We just heard from Dawn, and basically she says, I'm just feeling so inspired now, which I think a lot of people who have been watching are probably feeling the same thing here.
And we told you. Oh, and then Anne Marie says, I wish 17 hats were around years ago. Oh my goodness. It's time to get started, Anne Marie, now that you know about it.
It is.
Absolutely.
And everyone,
absolutely.
For those of you, if you have additional questions for Baraka, we still have time. Feel free to put them down in the comments below. Give us a heart or a thumbs up. I do want to share with you guys some of her information as well. For those of you like Anne Marie, if you're close in the area, the name again of the company is Couture Designs, LLC. We've got her Facebook information on there, email if you have any direct questions or just want to chat with her and get further inspired, website, couturedesigns.com. And then we have a little treat for those of you who are here. If you want to join 17 Hats today, you can get 15% off of our most popular plan, the Unlimited Annual, using Baraka's URL at the bottom. So all you got to do is go to that website, and there's about 4 fields you got to fill in with your contact information, and you can get started today. So do take advantage of that, you guys.
Yeah. So what other questions we have? So Baraka, when you get up in the morning, what do? Do you ignore 17 hats, or how does that work?
Absolutely not. As I said before, Jack, 17 hats is definitely a part of my everyday life now. I go to 17 hats every day to take a look at what I have on my to-do list. I take a look at the projects that I have going on and the due dates that are set up for those things. I also look at that bookkeeping feature and see who has not yet paid their contract out.
That's right.
Who hasn't signed it? Looking at those invoices that are still, due to be paid. I also take a look at that as well. But 17 hats is definitely integrated as a part of my everyday work plan that I do for my business, and it helps me keep on track with the things that I have upcoming. Again, like with the finance portions of it, along with those items that are a part of the workflow to-do list, and seeing what tasks that I need to take care of from one day to the next. So it is definitely a part of that.
It's kind of like a one-stop shop where you can just go through and look at what your day is going to be, look what it's going to be for the next couple of days, and just really get organized.
Yes, it does. And for those, when I talk about the bookkeeping feature, for those of you, if you go to the website, you'll see it integrates. You may say, well, I've already got a bookkeeping feature that I use. Well, I use PayPal for my, payment system. 17 Hats integrates with PayPal. If you have QuickBooks, it integrates with QuickBooks. So they've made all that stuff easy for you to link those accounts up and be able to use 17 Hats to help you with that feature. But most importantly, too, I want to say this, when you're talking about working your business and using tools like 17 Hats, for me, it was like having that internal GPS compass. Sometimes when you're working things, I was using just a regular pencil and paper, but I got to a point where I was really getting frustrated with having to use the pencil and paper all the time. Got that little bit of inspiration from my other sewing friend on 17 Hats. And you know how when you're going the wrong direction, sometimes your GPS will say recalculating, or it'll say rerouting you. Well, for me, when I did that recalculation, after being a little bit frustrated with having to do all this pencil and paper, I was rerouted and recalculated back to 17 Hats or to 17 Hats. And once I made it to the destination with 17 Hats, I realized, where has this thing been all my life? Mm-hmm. And I would have never really been exposed to have 17 Hats had someone not told me about it. So today, Jack and myself, want to tell you guys about 17 hats, and hopefully it'll redirect you and recalculate you to a tool that can really help you with your business and making things a little bit easier in the way you run your business. So get recalculated and, turn your GPS to 17 hats and make it work for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I just want to remind everyone too, Baraka has a full-time job on top of just running Couture Designs. She's a software engineer at NASA. She's a mother, and a wife, and her husband's a pastor, right? And he's got his church.
Yes.
And you help out with that as well. I mean, you wear 27 hats, I think.
Right.
Of course, I help out with all that stuff.
Right.
Of course, I help out with all that stuff.
Yeah, so it keeps you pretty busy. Now you use PayPal for doing this, but I think we also have a couple of other. We have 4 different methods you can use. You can use PayPal. You can hook it up to take payments and accept payments. We use Authorize.net. We use Stripe, and we use Square.
Yep.
And if you're a Stripe user, you can also go through and accept e-checks or ACH payments from. I think we have 1,500 banks right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of opens it up for a lot of people. Do you have anything, Baraka, that you would tell us? Do people pay you mostly by cash? Do they pay you by credit card? Is that something? What do you think?
Yeah, Jack, nowadays, everybody is swiping plastic nowadays. We are just in that age. Now, I do have some clients who prefer to pay cash for their services or for their products. I don't take checks, so I don't have to worry about that feature. But most of my payments are definitely used online payments using the credit card system. So that's how most of my payments are taken.
Okay, that must be real handy too when you're doing parties and you're doing classes and stuff like that, because it just makes it a lot faster to get
it comes in. The money. Yeah, it comes in real handy to be able to do that. I can just send them a link, send them an invoice, and they pay it.
Nice.
Now, Jack, you mentioned ACH payments, and for those of you who may not be familiar with the term, it's in essence an e-check that takes the funds from one bank account and deposits it into another. So if you happen to be using Stripe or have an account with them, you can activate the option to accept ACH payments, and the transaction fee is 0.8% per transaction, not to exceed $5, which is great for a lot of our users. So do look into that if you happen to have a Stripe account or if you're interested in ACH payments.
Right. So a lot more, it's convenient for a lot of people to do that as opposed to using plastic, but they can just go in and they can type in their bank account or a link to their particular account that they're using, and they can send the money.
Yeah. And do we have any other questions regarding 17 hats or from Ms. Baraka while she's still here? I'm going to throw up her information on the screen one more time. Again, if you want to learn how to sew and you happen to be in Huntsville or in the area, go check her out. And, her email's on there as well. She's open to answering any questions, regarding getting started with 17 hats, business, or if you just want to chat with her because she's an awesome person.
And also, I think, we got to mention the, if you use that code down the bottom, you can sign up for a unlimited annual plan right now and get 15% off our price, which is probably a very good deal.
And that's our most popular plan. Yep. You'll have access to the multi-feature that Baraka mentioned that she uses with her assistant. You can set different permissions for them. They can go in there, complete workflow tasks, have their own calendar. Baraka uses this every day. Is that one of your favorite features, would you say?
Yeah, I think the multi-user feature is definitely one of my favorite features, but can I just love them all, BG? I just love them all, okay?
Okay, be that way.
Please don't make me choose.
They're like
don't make me choose. Yeah, you love them all, because they all provide different things for me that make my life so much easier. So I just love them all. I do. I love them all.
But just nice having them all together.
Yes.
Under one roof.
All in one, under one roof and in one place. And with 1 or 2 clicks of a button, you're up and ready to go in no time.
That's right. Baraka Dawn says, gosh, I wish I was here in the area. Miss Baraka, you are my new hero. Yeah. That's right.
Nice. Very nice.
I did that.
Great. Well, Don, we can stay in touch online. Social media helps out with that. So I'll be happy to stay in touch with you through Facebook if we need to.
It's kind of interesting when you take a look that to a very great extent in the past, we have a lot of photographers that use 17 hats and things like that. And so you come in with your sewing and design business, and that's just a little bit different type of business that people are using. Can you think of are there other businesses like that that you can think of that would also benefit?
Oh my gosh, if you have a business license and a name, you can use 17 hats. I promise you. Because there is not a business that I can even think of that does not go through some type of process or procedure for how they function and do their business. Everybody has, especially if you're a client services type business, everybody has some type of consultation, that they hold with their clients. I have a whole workflow called consultation phase, that I go through when I sit down and meet with my clients. So there is no business that's out there that I don't think could truly not benefit from having 17 hats be incorporated as a part of the way that they do their business. I mean, any service type of business, product service type of business, and like for myself, even if you say, well, I don't have a lot of customers and, that sort of thing, that's okay. But just sit down and develop those workflows for your business. And like I said before, see where you may be, missing out on some time somewhere, or missing a step with something, or being able to get some time back. I was glad I was able to get some time back when I realized had a whole hour, that I could get back from not having to meet the client just to sign a contract.
Yeah.
I love my husband and my son to death, and I love spending time with my family. And I'll take this opportunity to say, hello, Sylvester and Silas. I love you guys, because they're going to be watching a little bit later. But those two guys are my heartbeats, and I love spending time with them. And like anybody else, we all want to be able to make more time to spend with our families. We hate being away from them when we're having to work. 17 hats can kind of help you shave away some of that guilt you may have when you're, off working your business, because you can get some of that time back. But there's not a business that's out there that cannot benefit from 17 hats. I don't care what it is you're doing. Everybody takes payments of some sort. Everybody has a calendar of some sort that they have to keep track of. Everybody has clients that they have to keep track of. 17 hats, does that for you. Keep up with all your clients, names, phone numbers, email addresses, that sort of thing. Everybody has a to-do list, a task list of some sort that they have to use. 17 hats has all of that under one big hat, And not only that, we would love to have any new members become a member of our hat pack. We just got that new name.
That's right.
Come and join us in the hat pack. We'll be glad to share with you guys the things that we share amongst each other as users, as a part of that hat pack Facebook group. So come and be a part of that with us, and you'll meet, not only persons like myself, but hundreds of other people who are using 17 hats right now, and you'll have an opportunity to interact with those folks. So come on and join us. Get on board. Just jump out there into it. You won't be disappointed if you feel like, okay, I just want to try it. Try it. I'm gonna just tell you that. Try it. Give it a try. You won't be disappointed. You won't be disappointed.
Oh man.
Very neat. I'm just listening and very inspired by what you said. Now, is there any one thing that you could kind of share with us all, now that we're coming near the end of the session, just to share with us on what it is, what is your inspiration like? How can everybody else develop and do this? What really inspired?
What really inspired me to start my business or start sewing? Make sure I understand the question.
Just anything to keep on going through and to keep on going through and starting your business, continue your business, keep on putting the work in and making a quality product.
Okay. Right. Well, I'll say this. I'll give this bit of encouragement to everybody. As I said before, you're passionate about your business, which is why you started it. You were passionate about something. Something gave you that drive to want to be able to do this business and to be able to share it with other people. So continue to have that passion and that drive. One of the things that I do personally to kind of help push me and encourage me even more is with sewing, I'm constantly self-teaching myself, or I'm going and learning something new, about the sewing industry or about the garment industry. It's one of those things that you can't just stop at one place and think that you've got it. You have to do continual learning, in your own craft. Build your craft, build your skill up, because that's how you keep producing that quality product. My people who know me, I'm always posting. At sewing conventions, I'm at sewing conferences, I'm going to the local quilt shops here in town and I'm taking classes, or I'm online looking at videos all the time, or signing up to take a new class. You've got to learn how to continuously build your craft and build your skill, whatever that may be. Whether it's in photography, go and take a local photography class at one of the local universities, to be better, at what you're doing. So it's that passion that you have to have about what it is you want to do. Always strive to be better at what you're doing, and providing that quality service and providing that quality product, so that when you set that price, you don't have to be hesitant about it, because you have already prepared yourself for what it is you're going to develop and what it is that you're going to do. And I always say to myself, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So when an opportunity comes along, all you have to do is just walk into the door. Just imagine if one of those, big Fortune 500 companies contacts you and say, hey, we're doing a whole new catalog. If you're in the photography business, we're doing a whole new catalog. We want you to take all the photos for us. You don't have to, scramble around and say, okay, hey, what do I do? You know what you do? You go to 17 Hats, you click on your workflow and says, I have a consultation with the client. What do I need to talk about? And let that tool help you walk through that process in getting that job done. So whether it's a Fortune 500 company or just your local person that's coming in to get a service or a product from you, let 17 Hats help you do that. So just be passionate about it. Know your worth. As I said before, hone in on your craft, always developing your craft and your skill, and produce that quality product, and you can never go wrong.
Wow. I love what you just said there, Baraka, about, you got to better yourself, whether it's your skills or improving your tools. And that's what 17 Hats is. It is a tool. And if you value, that client experience, 17 Hats can make that better for you as well. We hear time and time again from our customers who say, boy, that was really easy. Those booking documents you just sent over, that was a breeze. Or, thank you for the professionalism and the emails and the documents and the forms that I'm getting. Thank you for making it so easy for me to get in touch with you easily online through the lead capture form. So, for you, Baraka, it's like you probably invest thousands of dollars in your sewing machines, I would imagine. And just like that with 17 Hats, you gotta...
G, you can't say that online. My husband's going to be watching. You can't say that. You can't say that online. Can we edit Facebook Live? Don't say that.
I don't think you really said that. Maybe we just didn't hear it right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
But you do make an investment. You make an investment in your business, whether it's in sewing machines, cameras, camera lenses, rental equipment if you're into wedding decorating, extra dog leashes if you're walking dogs, poopers, whatever you have to have, you're making an investment in the equipment that you use to make your business be successful. And just see 17 Hats as another piece of equipment that you're going to use to help your business to be successful and helping keep you organized and keep you on the right track with what you need to do. So there it is.
Nice.
Awesome.
That is just so inspirational. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that kind of thing. I see we got your information up again.
Yep.
And just very nice. If people have enjoyed this, if you could just give us some likes maybe and give us some hearts on the Facebook, we'd really appreciate it.
Yeah. And if you happen to be in the Huntsville, Alabama area, again, contact Baraka, take a sewing class, chat with her. Her Facebook's on there. We've got her website on there. And for those of you who have your own business or you're thinking about getting started, this is the perfect time to join 17 Hats, because today we've got a special offer, 15% off of our most popular plan, the unlimited annual. Just go to the URL that's listed at the very bottom and, go ahead and sign up today and get started. Like Baraka said, if you have any questions, message our team. We've got video tutorials, articles, and join our Facebook user group. You can talk to actual users in real time, get advice, collaborate, start getting creative with, how you can get started. So do that today.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes, do that. Do it today. Tomorrow's not promised. Sign up today.
That's right.
All right.
And Baraka, our CEO's watching today. Donovan, he's here. He says hello.
Hi, Donovan. Hi, Donovan.
Nice.
All right,
Okay.
guys. Do we have any other last questions for Baraka?
Not seen anything, but people know how to
And
get in touch
again,
with
I'll say, yeah, and I'll say again, hey guys, feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to answer any questions I can answer for you. And if I can't answer those questions, guess what? I'm going to direct you to the 17 Hats team and let them answer those questions for you. But I'll be happy to chat with anybody when this Facebook Live is over. Just inbox me at my Couture Designs LLC Facebook page, and I'll be happy to keep the communication going with you guys. I would love to do that. So please do that. I'll be happy to do that.
Awesome. Baraka, thank you so much for your time today, for sharing your story and just being an inspiration, I think, to everyone who's watching. So we really do feel lucky that
thank
we were
you.
able to find you in our hat pack. So
And it's just such a pleasure hearing a story like that and just seeing your motivation and just the things you do.
yeah.
It's just great.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone who's here and who watched. Let us know if you have any follow-up questions. You can always leave a comment down below. Contact Baraka if you have any questions for her specifically. I'll post her information in this thread, just so for those of you who missed it, if you want to follow up with her, you can. And with that said, that wraps up today's session. And Jack and I will be back next week, Thursday again.
Yeah.
Same time. So we'll see you then.
All right. Thanks
All
for
right,
joining
guys.
us.
Have a good one. Baraka, you take care
Bye.
now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.